Hello, everyone. It is Dr. Siobhan here, founder of Relatable. I am so excited to be back with you on day number 2 of our 3-day marriage reset. This is a 3-part series where I share with you some of the exact tools and strategies that I use with my own private clients to help them reset their marriage and get things back on track. So, opportunity to talk all about visualizing and existing in possibility and being really, really clear on what it is you want to actually create in your marriage. I encourage you to locate that video, which will be right here on this page here on Facebook. I also have them posted on YouTube if you want to check out some of my other stuff over there as well. But today we are delving into releasing resentment. Resentment is one of those things that hardens our heart and creates distance and creates division and really makes it difficult for us to connect with each other and to see each other in a positive light, which are very important things, very important ingredients to any happy, successful, and happy marriage. Now, if this is your first time ever seeing me on video and you're like, who is this person talking about this stuff? Hello, I am Dr. Siobhan Parad. I am a marriage relationship expert, and I work with women and couples, but mostly women, to help them create happy, loving marriages without having to make over their husband. What? How do I do that? So the way that I do that is I offer coaching, I offer programming, I do a lot of in-person events that really help us as women take a good look at the mirror and identify the ways that we may be contributing to the very results and outcomes in our marriage that we do not want. And of course, one of those areas, one of those topics is what we are going to be talking about today, which is resentment, which is not being able to let go of the things that no longer serve you, the ways of seeing your husband, the ways of operating in your marriage, the ways of perceiving your past that really continue to bring you down, continue to frustrate you, upset you, make you mad and angry, and just really harden your heart towards your husband. So if you are a spouse watching this and you feel like you've been building up a little bit of a wall, that there are things that have happened, words that have been spoken, actions that have been taken that really have scarred you, right? That really have left a bruise, whether it's on your heart or a bruise on your ego or a bruise on just your whole soul, right? As it relates to your marriage, I want to share with you 3 steps, 3 processes, 3 strategies that you might consider on the road to releasing your resentment so that you can be more united, so that you can be happy, so that you can have the type of marriage that you got to dream about yesterday, okay? So the first thing that I want to suggest you do when it comes to this topic of releasing resentment is to just make a decision. Do you actually want to forgive? Do you actually want to let it go, whatever the it is? Do you actually want to free yourself and free your spouse from the resentment that is likely building up? So what do I mean by this? That is really a function of asking yourself this question. Do I want to be the victim or do I want to be the victor, right? So when you make the decision to release resentment, to forgive what may be unforgivable, to let go of something that you feel you shouldn't let go of, you then dominate that situation, right? You rise up to being a higher, better, more self-actualized version of yourself. You step into that person that God is drawing you, pushing you, pulling to become, right? Now, that does not in any way excuse what the other person did. It just means that you no longer tell yourself the story, they did that to me, right? You no longer allow their behavior, their words, their actions to bring you down. You know, the act of forgiveness is really one of those things where you decide that you will no longer punish them, that you will no longer be angry about it, and even pushing yourself to the point of you would not erase the past, because you can actually see how that situation came to serve you and to put you in the exact position that God wants you to be in. That's deep. That's heavy. That's a lot. Some of you may not be ready for that reality, but for those of you that are, I want you to get it. Making the decision to release your resentment puts you in the victor role, where you are the one that is empowered. You are the one that is in control, not allowing that situation to bring you down, not allowing the other person's behavior to dictate how you act, how you feel, or how you think. So that is step number one. Number two is something that may surprise you a little bit. So step number two, as I see it in this process of releasing resentment, is allowing both hurt and healing to coexist together. What does that mean? So inevitably, if you are resentful about something, there has been some situation that has taken place, some words that have been spoken, some behaviors that have been acted upon that have made you hurt, right? Whether you manifest your hurt through anger and lashing out, or you withdraw and go into yourself, at the end of the day, you've been hurt, right? You've been hurt, you've been pained, you've been affected by what someone else did or said. Now, when it comes to forgiveness and when it comes to releasing resentment, that in no way means you erase that hurt and pain. Actually, what needs to happen is you need to almost lean into it, to acknowledge it, to feel it, to experience it, because you cannot heal what you don't acknowledge. And it's by allowing both the hurt and the healing to coexist that you get a breakthrough, right? And so where does the healing part come in? The healing part comes in releasing that hurt, releasing that pain to your creator, releasing it to God for him to, soothe it, for him to put the balm ointment on it, for him to make it okay. But you've got to first accept that you are hurt. You've got to first accept that you are pain, and you've got to hand it over to him. And now that doesn't mean, that you will never feel the hurt and the pain again. It's just that you make the choice to allow the hurt to be healed, right? Instead of wanting the hurt to be erased or wanting the hurt to be made right. A lot of times why we carry resentment, why we carry unforgiveness, is because we want the other person to somehow make it right. The reality is they won't be able to do that, right? They're never going to really be able to make it right for you, because the only person that can soothe you at the deepest level of your soul, at the deepest level of your spirit, is God himself. And so you have to be willing to feel the hurt and also embrace the healing that comes when you are hurt, okay? Number three is you have to also be very, very present to and aware of the need that was not met in the hurtful, painful situation that you experienced. Whatever they said, whatever they did, it scratched you because a need was uncovered that was not being met. And so you need to ask yourself, what is it that I needed in this situation that I didn't get, right? What is it that I needed in this situation that I didn't get? And a lot of times it is either reassurance, like you needed to know that your husband would be there for you when you needed him. You needed to know that he was loyal to you. You needed to know that you were special and important to him. So the need for reassurance was probably not met. The other need that is very common whenever you're holding on to resentment is there's a mismatch of expectations, right? You needed him to be a person that he was not. You needed him to show up in a way that he did not. And so you have a mismatch of expectations that you expected him to be here and he showed up here. And that's painful. And that's hard to acknowledge. And that's hard to accept when in your mind it should have gone a different way. The other need that a lot of times is there bubbling in the surface when there's resentment is the need to be acknowledged and understood. So what that means is you want to know that your husband, that your spouse sees you, hears you, and that your feelings matter. And when that doesn't happen, you feel small. You feel unimportant. You feel like you're invisible. That no matter how many times you try to explain it, no matter how many times you try to help them understand, they can't even acknowledge what you're feeling. They can't even put themselves in your shoes to understand it. And so if any of those needs are really underneath your pain, your resentment, your lack of forgiveness, I want you to do something that's going to seem counterintuitive. And I want you to set your mind on accumulating evidence that that need is being met. So if what you most need or didn't get was reassurance, I want you to start looking for the ways that your husband offers you reassurance, maybe in some other area, right? Maybe it's not that exact situation, but I want you to look for his capacity, his ability, his willingness even to offer you some reassurance. Because 9 times out of 10, you've told yourself this story that he can't offer you that he is unwilling, unable to offer you any semblance of reassurance, right? So if it wasn't reassurance for you, maybe it was an unmet expectation. I want you to look for the ways that he does meet your expectations. Look for the ways that maybe he's not doing that one thing or those 2 things that you really want, but what are other expectations that you have that he actually is meeting? And I want you to set your mind on that. The third thing, right, if you're not feeling acknowledged, if you're not feeling like he truly understands you, I want you to look for evidence that he does. Again, I know offering this as a strategy is like, what are you talking about? There's no way he understands. There's no way he's even, able to acknowledge what I'm experiencing, what I'm going through right now. And I want to challenge that, right? That's what coaching and this process that I work through my clients with is designed to do. It's designed to challenge everything you think you know about what's happening in your marriage so that you can exist in a new possibility. And that's not easy to do. That's not easy for me to guide you through on this video, but it's what I do, and it works. Because so much of the challenge that you are experiencing, releasing the resentment, is what is happening internally and what's happening in your mind. The situation happened already. The words were already spoken. That's in the past. But the pain that you continue to experience, the hardening of your heart that continues to rise up, is a result of you reliving that experience day in and day out, telling yourself a specific story about it that is disempowering, that is hurtful and harmful to you more than anything. And so if you want to release resentment. I encourage you to, one, decide that that's what you want to do. Decide that you will become the victor, no longer the victim. Okay? That is step number one. The next step is to allow the hurt and the healing to coexist together. And then the third step is to identify that need that was not met, and then to actually look for evidence that it is being met, maybe in a different way. Okay? So I hope that this was helpful for you. If you found anything I said really stood out to you, was really helpful, or really challenged the way you've been looking at things, why don't you drop a comment or send me a private message. Also, share this. You never know who might be scrolling through the internet right now needing to hear this very message in their life. And so I encourage you to share it if you find anything of value worth sharing. And then also, if you didn't do it yesterday, be sure to grab your marriage reset guide. That is a step-by-step process that I offer for how you can release some of the resentment and begin to make your marriage a priority in the way that you know it should be, and to begin to reset all the things that are going wrong in exchange for all the things you want to be going right. So thank you for tuning in today. I will be back with you tomorrow for day 3, which is going to be a surprise. I'm not even going to tell you what the topic is because I want you to join me, and it's going to be powerful, and it's going to really make a difference in your marriage. So again, thank you for tuning in. Make sure you get your marriage reset guide. The link is right here with this video, and I'll see you back here tomorrow. Bye-bye.